We begin with the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial, taking a look at the courtroom in Walterboro, South Carolina, where cross-examination of the prosecution's final witness is now underway. Here's what has happened so far today. The final witness, a state agent, testified about the minute-by-minute timeline from cell phone and vehicle GPS data showing where Murdaugh, his wife Maggie, and son Paul were the night of the murders. Joining me now, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Bernarda Villalona. Bernarda, good to see you again. We're already seeing some tension here with this cross-examination today. What's your reaction so far?
Exactly. The cross-examination, you can tell that the defense attorney is upset from what they've heard. Remember that this evidence wasn't even available a week or 2 weeks ago because GM had said that they weren't able to get that data. So they actually got that information just a couple of days ago. And this information is crucial for the prosecution because it definitely details the timeline of that vehicle and the positioning of Alex Murdaugh's vehicle. So guess what, Alex Murdaugh? You were at the scene when both these two people were killed, and hence, like the prosecution is saying, you are the person that is responsible for the death of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh.
So just walk us through the timeline presented today. What does it tell you about where Alex, Maggie, and Paul were that night, and what does it do to Alex's alibi?
So Alex's alibi has been killed from day one, and they actually told you during an opening statement. And the way that they destroyed his alibi is that from the very beginning, Alex Murdaugh has been saying that he was never at the dog kennels. The dog kennels, which is on the property of their home, is where Paul and Maggie were that night, just a few minutes before their phones went dead forever. So the phones is what places both of them at the location, at the dog kennels, and the phone going dead, meaning no messages were read, no calls were answered, is what the prosecution was able to narrow down, that it had to have been the time when both Paul as well as Maggie were killed. During the entire time, Alex Murdaugh was saying, I was never at the dog kennels. When police spoke to him that night, no mention of having gone to the dog kennels. Just a couple weeks later, after this homicide, he's brought in for an interview, a videotaped interview. And when he's asked directly, were you at the dog kennels because someone said they heard your voice there, he said, no, I was not there. So that Snapchat video where several witnesses authenticated and said, that is Alex Murdaugh's voice, puts him right at the dog kennels a few minutes before we know for sure that Maggie as well as Paul were killed. But now we got even more exact timing because the vehicle positioning of Alex Murdaugh's vehicle puts him also at the location. So here it kills his alibi in the sense of, what are you going to say now? Because you've been distancing yourself from this homicide scene from the very beginning. And the only argument for that distancing yourself is because you knew that a homicide took place and you were responsible for it.
So how do you think the jury is processing those timeline details, Bernarda, and how do you think the defense is going to respond?
So that's the difficult part for this jury to process all that information, technical information that has been presented since day one, because they aren't taking notes like we are taking notes from all the testimony that we're hearing and the arguments that we are hearing so we can fact check it or even compare it to other evidence. The jury is going to rely on their own memories and their memories of their fellow jurors. And what I assume is going to happen is that they're going to ask for readback during the deliberations, to ask for certain testimony to be read back to them, because they need to be able to write down this timeline so they can start evaluating the timeline and determine whether Alex Murdaugh is a person that is responsible for the death of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh.
Why do you think prosecutors are using this particular story about Murdaugh asking his friend to shoot him months after his wife and son were killed? How is that helping to build the case against him?
So let's just be clear. In terms of the financial crimes testimony that came in, as well as the testimony about Alex Murdaugh asking a friend to kill him, the prosecution was putting forth the financial crimes information in as motive, meaning a reason why Alex Murdaugh will kill his son as well as his wife, even though motive does not have to be proven. All they have to prove is the identity of the person as well as that the homicide actually took place. So they're trying to put more information into these jurors' minds to have them believe that Alex Murdaugh is responsible.
And how do you think all of this sets up the defense? I mean, what will you be listening for when they get their time in court?
So it looks like the defense will probably be starting their case on Tuesday. And remember, during opening statements, the defense has stated that they want the jury to go out to the scene, to take a look and walk through the scene, and then take it from there, where they're going to have witnesses testify. They're going to have an expert witness testify, at least one, about footprints. So we're going to see what they're going to do, but it's going to be a battle of the experts at this point.
For sure. Bernarda Villalona, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.